Hi Pisces, it's me Donatella and welcome to your May 2018 general reading. What I want to do this month for you specifically is something a little bit different. I hope you have a little bit extra time for it, but all of it is very important for you. I wanted to do something extra this month because when I hit a topic and I have more than one sign, more than a few signs, asking the same question about the same situation that's happening, I feel like it's really, really important to discuss what is happening currently right now with the planet. As you know, you are a very, very important astrological sign. You are very much involved in the zodiac. You do actually help a lot of people in this world. And it's just from your imagination and your inspiration. And really that's the main thing that we really, really need necessarily from you, so that way we can move as souls. So I had a Pisces ask me a question back in April, and she wanted to know why Pisces was such an important sign. And the reason for that is because your sign is so intuitive. So I want to let you know, for the next couple of months, if you start seeing like certain birds, there's a reason why you're seeing these birds. Something compelled me to just tell you that right now. So if you go outside and you know exactly what type of bird that is, try to Google it and see what the meaning of that bird is, and then you're going to see another bird and another, you'll see something else. And as you move along, you'll see signs of where your next step is heading. And it'll be from the most simplistic, natural things. So for example, one of my dearest, closest Pisces friends actually called me this morning, and she said that there was a white hawk that she saw. And immediately she just thought of calling me and telling me what that bird was. And immediately, I just immediately thought, hey, you know what, friend? We need to look up what the meaning of this bird is, because when you see a certain spirit animal, it has like some kind of totem meaning to it. And when you see like a butterfly, or when you see a specific kind of bird, or a special animal that you don't normally see on a regular day, you need to actually find out what the meaning of that spirit animal is, so that way you know what the signs are, where the angels are leading you. Because I feel like as the days progress, you're going to get more and more intuition that is going to lead you to the next stage of your life. But you're going to see signs here and there, and you're not going to feel like they're very visible right away. They're going to be like small and minuscule, but when you start putting the pieces together and asking another spiritual friend, you're going to be more enlightened, because everything that you're thinking is going to be affirmed and confirmed for you. And once you get that confirmation, you're going to kind of know where is the next step to take, so that way you can enhance your life better. You're going to be making lots of revolutionary changes in your life. A lot of people are not going to be agreeing with them. But as soon as you find your place in the world, a lot of other people will be able to find their place too. If you have been finding yourself leaving a relationship to start a new one, there could be a possibility that you were probably doing a benefit for someone else and they're not realizing it. But if you're staying in the relationship that you currently are, there's a possibility that you're staying in it to enhance it. And if you are single right now, I have very much a feeling that you may start a lasting relationship very soon, because the energies are really conspiring for this. Okay, so there's 3 parts. So first, there's 4. This part is just the introduction of what I'm sensing. The second part is how I responded to another Pisces about how important you are, because I need to make sure that you know and you are very aware of how important you are. And if you don't, I need you to replay this message. I need you to replay this video over and over and over until you get it thoroughly, how important you are, so that way you can get to the next track and move to the next mission in life. I really need the Pisces to move and feel very inspired, because you guys' heart is very pure, and as long as you guys are happy, then you can motivate the rest of us on this earth. So the first step was the response letter that I had wrote. The second is what's happening in astrology, and the third part will be your reading. So let me go ahead and read back what I had wrote the other Piscean, because she was very intrigued and she wanted to know why Pisces was so important. Okay, so this is what I had wrote, and you guys can go back to it later. You can reread it if you want to dissect it, and if you didn't understand something that I said, you could go back to April Pisces video, and all of that is written in the comments of what I'm about to speak right now. There are 3 water signs in the zodiac. Cancer is house 4, Scorpio is house 8, and Pisces is house 12. Water represents emotion and intuition. Cancer rules the stomach, diaphragm, breasts, and lymph system. Scorpio rules the nose, genitals, colon, the blood, and urethra. Pisces rules the feet and the toes. Pisces is the highest number on the intuition grid as well as all the zodiac. It has the highest level of intuition. That is why you are the world's feet. You are the one that is going to make the world move. Meaning that you can sense the emotional level of all zodiacs. It is such a high level of intuition that you are the world's feet. You are not just a baby anymore once you walk. When you're stuck, we're all stuck, but you have to wait for the rest of us to get our crap together. Your heart was born perfect. It's just too much for you right now, and I will continue to elaborate for you. Imagine if all of us were superheroes, good versus evil. We as individuals have different sorts of super amazing powers. People all around us, all around the world, are doctors who save the lives of humans and animals and people who are there for one another, especially when living beings are abused or injured. People who help save the rainforest, wildlife, and other elements in the world that are dire to our needs. People who have revolutionized your rights, currently, right now, to this day, and your freedom, and into the future. People who have invented bridges, phones, microwaves, airplanes, and electricity. People who lift others into making amazing changes all around in the world. Then there's the others, the lost and the confused, the misunderstood and the ones that feel the most pain and suffering, the ones that dwell and the ones that repeat their suffering, the ones that talk about all the negativity all the time. The ones that dwell in their loss and negativity, the murderers, the abusers, the rapists, the thieves, the addicts, the liars, the gossipers, the ones that judge for no justice, backstabbers, or just the people that are just plain greedy. All of those people are all from the 12 different zodiac tribes. Many of these people can share the same background, but their results can also much differ by their own thoughts and their own actions. All of these people, good or bad, whatever your opinion of that is, it all comes from the strength of a higher frequency or their lack of. Staying positive will enforce others to cooperate much better into a higher and brighter future. Dwelling will result in failure, which will lead in generations of failure. So if you guys haven't watched the spring equinox video, I really, really, really highly recommend you guys watching it, because I'm actually talking about the effects of the generations to come. So if you don't solve the problems that you need to solve right now, it doesn't end when you die. Your children and your children's children have to figure it out. So if you want to bring healing into this life, please solve these issues before it affects our children and their children's children. Imagine laying in a hospital bed and your feet stopped working. You can't go anywhere anymore. You'll start needing the assistance of something else to help you move around more. You're frustrated, you're upset, it's not freeing. Each one of these zodiacs is like the piece of the body. And to dissect it, it's better to understand it. Pisces rules the feet, toes, lymphatic system, and body fat. You are the emotions and the movement to the entire body. Pisces will send us the gift of intuition, dreams, psychic healing, emotional well-being, deliver us the gift of imagination when we are blocked. Remind others that intuition is real and to show your proof and protection of it. Remind us why spirituality and humanity is why spirituality, humanity, and generosity is important. You also have the gift of showing others the limitless ends of empathy and compassion. You teach us how to handle emotions and cure us from mental sanity. You let us understand the limitless dreams and the art that is bestowed upon you so that we can learn to have fantasy and inspiration. When a Pisces is not well balanced, just like any other sign, it can fall into neutral balance or even fall into a huge pitfall of destructive behaviors. The worst destructive behavior is this depression for you. Allowing yourself to stay in a positive atmosphere will allow you to start dreaming again so that others will move and do the right thing. Sometimes, especially when you're in a good mood, your advice is so inspiring that it takes us to new heights. When this happens, you inspire other people to feel healing, and you actually help them heal years of emotional wounds that have that eventually lead to inspiration to financial prosperity. And when they have financial prosperity, they're much generous back towards you after you heal them with their emotional wounds. That's why 12 is important. You make others feel complete because your emotional intelligence is complete. You're the master number 12. When a baby finally walks, its stage as a baby is complete. The house 12 represents completion to everything. Pisces is the highest, most intuitive sign. It has the highest gifts of all and its highest positive frequency. For example, let's say that you're going through a hard time right now and you're not drinking to celebrate anymore. You're just doing it to shut your feelings off. Whatever that poison or loophole is for you. You're just ignoring your feelings. You're shutting them off. Some people drink. Some people shop. Some people gamble. That kind of behavior will cause your intuitional messages not to come through. So every time that you're upset, it's a hindrance. It's a delay for the feet of the soul to not move. And when you don't move, others will not be able to move. Imagine the movie Transformers, and if the feet were missing. You have the ideas and intuition like no one else. Every time you're blocked, you can't complete your mission. Your messages will not come through. There's people, there are friends around you, there are children around you that you can, and if you cannot provide the words of encouragement, aka movement, you can't do it till you're at your best self, because otherwise your response will be a negative response and it'll have a domino effect. So if it's a positive one, it'll have a positive effect towards people that you've never even met yet. But if it's negative, even if it's just a moment of little bit of a frustration, that will have a domino effect to other people too, even people that you've never even known. It cycles back to you. So make sure that whatever activity that you have, it's something that is not kept in secret. It's something that you could do in front of everybody else, that you're proud of yourself inside and out. Make choices that you are proud of inside and out, and explain yourself why you're making these changes and why it's a benefit if you make these changes for other people. Because I know when you're making a decision, either you're going to fall into addiction or you're going to fall into a choice that inspires other people. And you have this thing where you don't want to hurt others, so you're going to go do it in a secretive way. Why are you going to do it in a secretive way when you could just have it out in the public? And if you have it out in the public, then maybe we could follow along and find our happiness bliss, because we feel blocked sometimes. We feel like we have to follow the rules. And sometimes Pisces, you step outside of the rules and you show us different ways of handling things. And that helps us to feel enlightened, where we don't have to think inside the box. We can think outside the box and we can figure out new answers for ourselves. And that can be very healing. Open yourself. It's going to cause it's everything you do from this point on, from May and over. It will cause a ripple effect to others that you have even met. So open yourself to higher frequency so that your words, your spirituality, your intuition, your encouragement, even your posts on Facebook, your love, your joy will start a revolutionary change in your life for the positive, and it will affect others as well. So do something that will revolutionize everybody. Start something inside of your spirituality that helps you shift, so that way you can start seeing your reality shift too. Because I could see the domino effect. Once you inspire others with your imagination, you're going to start bringing back those gifts to yourself. Whatever you put in the seeds of other people will come back towards you. Your emotional well-being will then cause a ripple effect to the people around you. Ask yourself, can you be your best self in the relationship that you are currently in now? If not, what is the cause? And what can you do to be more positive? Is there a way you can raise your positive energy around you or your spouse or your partner so that it doesn't hinder your progress? Can you inspire your significant other so that they can inspire you? Can you take your relationship in a place of healing where you can also have peace and harmony within your life? Can you be an example so that they can see the beautiful light that you shine? When you're at your best, it's the time that everybody else is at their best too. And when you are worried, you can never be your best. When you're alone and you construct ways of mending things, and you feel like the changes that you make have a positive effect, regardless of how people feel about it now, if they feel negative about it now. If you feel like what you're doing has a positive effect for yourself, you need to sit there and you need to explain this and play it out to the people that you're hurting, if you are hurting someone. If not, you need to move forward and heal yourself with the negative past, from the negative past, and just start focusing on the positive things, because time is just an illusion. You can start overlapping the pain and suffering that you've had and actually reconstruct something completely beautiful now. And if you imagine that other people are healing around you and you imagine yourself healing around you, everything else will coincide together all at the same time simultaneously. It depends on how you want this to play out. If you feel guilty, then you know what? A lot of other people are going to make you feel more guilty. If you feel inspired, you're going to start creating a much more inspiring situation for others. So if you're numbing yourself through drugs, then other people are going to start numbing themselves through drugs. You are a huge inspirator. You carry a huge weight on your shoulder. You have no idea how much you inspire people. So if you are projecting something that you need to hide away from people, people are going to start doing that secretively in their own homes. So if you don't feel comfortable about other people being secretive against you, don't display that kind of lifestyle. Don't display anything that you don't want anybody else to project back to you. If there's something you need more of, if you need more love, if you need more attention, if you need more of anything, provide more of that and you'll see it coming back to you. If you need more money, provide more work, provide more service. Provide more of whatever you need and you'll see it coming back in tenfold. Don't worry about staying empty. Just worry about where this passionate drive leads you to. Whatever that gives you inspiration and happiness, follow that dream so that way other people know how to get to theirs. So if you're separating into a different kind of lifestyle that people are not used to, let that light be the guide for yourself temporarily. No one knows how this light shines except for you. Let yourself be the leader to that light. Then they will follow through. Right now you're in a black tunnel by yourself. I can sense it. I can feel it. You're about to come out of it. As soon as you come out, this tunnel is very short. And it'll close, it'll open, it'll close, it'll open, it'll close and open. That's why I wanted to create the series for all of you. And I need you guys to follow me as the months go by because I need to show you how this calendar works and how it plays out. So you guys need to follow up on the monthly readings as well as follow up on the series that I'm going to have for you guys every month. That's kind of like a culmination of what has happened at the end of the month. So that way we can create a forum, create a discussion, and create some healing for you. I will also start to do some personal readings very soon, but probably most likely by the end of middle of this month or end of this month. I will add more information in the description box on how to contact me, on what type of different services that I have. I'm going to have different services and I'm going to try to make it as much as affordable as I can as possible because the goal really is about self-healing and finding the niche that you need and finding the things that you need. It's really more about the passion that you have. So if I see you guys have a lot of passion, you guys have a lot of drive, I want to be there to be that guide, be that light, so that way, you can get some inspiration. It's not about and it's what's really sickening is that some of these people are listening to advice that is negative, okay? So you're going to talk to friends, you're going to talk to family, you're going to listen to tarot readings, you're going to listen to music, you're going to eat food, you're going to meditate. All of that has to be through a positive filter, okay? Not everything that you read you should accept. especially if it's something that is negative. Okay, yeah, you want to look at reality. Yeah, it's good to look at reality, but I think at some point, sucking too much reality can also put a very huge negative emphasis on you. You have to take the good with the bad. So start accepting everything that has already happened and accept it for what it is. You can't change the past. And actually time is an illusion. So what you need to do is you need to change your future. You need to let people see the things that have been working like a positive force for you, so that way they can start following their own intuition. And once they see that this made a huge change of happiness for you and a positive effect for you, and it rolled into a domino effect of happiness for you, then everybody's going to be like, oh my goodness, like, look what Pisces did. I want to go do what they did too. And you're going to be the huge catalyst for everybody to make some changes, because you were very intuitive. You know exactly what is the right thing to say at the right time. But when you're in your negative field, you can't do it. So if you're stuck in a relationship and you've been trying for a long time to get out of this negative force, and it still stays negative, it's not so much about the relationship that you're with. It's not so much that God wants you to break off your relationship or to keep your relationship. It's not about that. It's about, is this the relationship that kept you in a positivity? If not, what are you doing to make it more positive for you in the future? And you're going to have to figure out who to filter into your life that's a positive force. And if they are somebody that is very important to you that you would never ever 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 want to get rid of in your life, then you need to start finding out, what is the way that I can make the relationship with these people more positive? Because you already empathize. You already know how to empathize with people. You already know how to have compassion with people, Pisces. So now the next step is just being positive and saying the right thing at the right time. Because like I said, when you see those birds and you start Googling them and start looking at them, Pisces is the first one to see these things. So during May, you're going to start seeing birds. And then I'm going to start showing you how to being more intuitive with other things. So with May, April, you were letting go. You were shedding all the crap and getting rid of all the nastiness and the bad energy. May, you're going to start recognizing and seeing like all the beauty in nature. You're going to start seeing, things in nature. And I want you to practice your intuitiveness with the birds. So when you see a bird, I want you to look it up and Google it and see what the definition of that bird means. So even if it's a bird that you see all the time at your house, if it's a woodpecker, if it's a raven, if it's whatever it is, these birds will have a message for you. And as time goes by, I'll show you how you can train your intuition into understanding what different things mean throughout the day. So while you're going to work, I'll show you how to be intuitive for the next month for your own self. So this is kind of going to be kind of like a training for yourself, so that way you can recognize how to interpret intuition for others. So the first part in May is healing yourself, understanding yourself, taking a path for people to follow, and you could start with the birds on raising your intuitiveness. Okay, so at 22:35, we're going into horoscope. All right, so your reading is pretty long today, but I felt like it was really important for the explanation. So I apologize if it's too long. Please put it on the watch later list or subscribe, replay it. You may have to replay it over and over. You may even have to take notes. But everything that I'm telling you today is extremely important, and you're very special to me. So I really, really hope that you would take great consideration into what I'm telling you today. Okay, so currently this month is in Taurus. So the sun is in Taurus, so that's where we're going to be taking action in. Taurus is a persistent provider of the zodiac. This sign will help us seek security, enjoy earthly pleasures, and get the job done. Okay, so during the time of Taurus, it is ruled by Venus. So you're going to notice that during from April 20th until May 20th, you're going to notice that you're going to appreciate both the physical and the material comfort. You're going to appreciate luxury, beauty, high quality goods, and thrive on anything which pleases the senses. You would like to be in production and put in that energy into power. You just have to be careful so that way that power doesn't become control. You will be more naturally attuned to nature, and you will become more practical. And during this time, during the month of, during until May 20th, during the time of Taurus, you're going to be learning how patience will be the key. Okay? The slower you go, the more time you take for yourself, the more you recalibrate yourself, you're going to find yourself healing, and then you'll be finding yourself having the right words to express the right things that you need to say. Uranus is in Aries, and it's also in Taurus. And what that means is that you'll finally have a clean break with the past. In some respects, that is signaled by the cycle you have just begun, or what you need, your freedom and your independence. You're going to be breaking away from the old molds. You're going to be shattering them away. These are the things that energize you, and they take priority in your life. Uniqueness and originality will set you apart from others pretty soon. You will be more practical. You'll think about ingenuity. You'll combine it as a power that drives you in your life right now, and it will be the new cycle that is beginning. You're going to take strong and innovative concepts, and you're going to make them real and practical, and that's going to be your strongest suit. You're going to try to avoid being in the mud at all costs. May will be the time to recalibrate. You're going to recharge. There's been a lot of life circumstances that have been affecting you. So if you really want to heal, I really recommend you going to nature, or taking your family and friends to nature. But, camping, fishing, hiking, going to the lake, water, touching trees, doing a little sweating a little bit, walking a lot, touching leaves, breaking off a flower, smelling a rose, spend hours in that. Just putting your feet on the ground, touching dirt. It could really heal you. And it's just something that it just revolutionizes a human being. So if you find yourself in too much pain lately and you haven't taken yourself to nature, that could just recalibrate you like that. That could heal you for the next couple weeks. Just one little visit for a couple hours. Pisces, it can make you feel so remarkably amazing. Just take your favorite person, the person that least stresses you, or the person that has been needing some inspiration, the person that's been very depressed for a long time and you've been needing to find them healing. Take that person with you to nature, and you guys will start feeling magnificent then. Because after you go through that recharging point, you're not going to feel as bad as going through and reaching inside of your hidden self. There's some parts inside of us that we hide, that we want to share with others, whether they're negative or positive. There's talents that we have that we're embarrassed to share with people. There's good things that are going in our life that we're embarrassed to share with people. We're embarrassed to express the beautiful and amazing things that we look forward to. We're also having a hard time expressing our secrets, or expressing things about ourselves that we want to share. Not so much about other people's secrets, but there's things that we want to share that are about ourselves that we've been dying to share with others. Things that we've learned about ourselves that we've grown recently, especially in the last 6 months. Pisces, I know you've been feeling this incredibly the last 6 months. You've felt, like there's been such a change and such a shift, and things are really not the same anymore. And there's things that you've been wanting to plant seeds in, and there's things that are shifting. And as soon as you start releasing the things that are bothering you and focus more on things that are making you happy, that you're going to start soaring high. So there's the first leap of faith that you're going to take is going to be the catalyst of many changes that you're going to make in your life that are going to be for the positive. But as soon as you take that one big leap, then there's going to be other leaps that you have to take. They're going to be much smaller hurdles, but that first one is going to be a lot harder. And then it's going to be like this wave that goes up and down. Wave, but it's going to start soaring higher and higher and higher. So it's going to be like I explained to you in your last month's reading. It is like a contraction. It goes higher and higher and higher and higher. However, at the end, which I believe is going to be about December 17th, 2020, is when you're going to feel at your most best self compared to what is happening right now. And I'll explain why that is as I explain more about what's happening in astrology. The moon is in Sagittarius from May 15th until June 12th. our feelings will respond in a Sagittarius way, and that is to call to adventure, so maybe more camping, more nature stuff, and initiation to a greater truth and freedom, opposing the feeling of duality. So like other people's feelings or your crossed, confused feeling, that will stop. So that way you can kind of structure what your feeling is, so that way you can really get what you want. The reason for this is so that we can illuminate our soul's wisdom as we create our future. And create a future with love, vulnerability, and truth. The new moon is will be on May 15th. The new moon represents the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. So you remember when I was saying like you have this feeling of duality and it's going to come into one single feeling, and that single feeling will be love, vulnerability, and truth. Well, you're going to start feeling like you want that on May 15th. And then on May 29th is when you're going to start like accomplishing that and making sure that that carries through. So what I want to tell you is like, don't fear the changes that are happening right now. These roller coasters are too much for you to, you feel like they're too much for you to handle. However, on June 13th, the moon will be in Gemini, and it's considered to be as the lucky stars day. There will be no planets complicating that time. You'll be more than likely to receive some amazing, amazing news, but it's only if you follow the higher frequency. And I'm you know, I have no control of what decisions you make. I'm showing you what blueprint has already been mapped out already. Now, if you take this to a higher positive force, then you're going to have a higher positive force of a domino effect. If you take it to a negative force, it's going to have a much negative force. So this is the cards that you're dealt with, and how you, this is the cards that you're given, and how you deal with them will have the domino effect replicating for other people to come. Saturn transits, okay, so Saturn is in Capricorn, okay? And it's going to be like this. Remember when I said that this energy will stay like this until December 17th, 2020? And that's because you're getting restructuralized. You're getting restructuralized in a lot of departments. One of the major ones is in work. It's going to teach us to take responsibility for ourselves as well as in home and in work. I'm sure you've been feeling like the world has been a cold place recently, ever since January, the beginning of January, or even the end of December. And it's been feeling like it's been an uphill battle but it actually, eventually it leads to success, but perseverance has to take place. You have to really persevere through this process, because it's going to be like a roller coaster. And if you don't persevere and you keep switching off to a new direction and you don't, let's say like you have a pattern of dating a lot of people and you don't learn your lessons, so you're like, okay, this person sucked, so now I'm going to go to another one. You're not going to be able to get away with the lessons that you didn't learn previously. You're going to have to either choose to evolve with the person that you're in, or you're going to have to choose choose a different partner to learn how to evolve your lessons. But you cannot avoid the lessons. The whatever problem you're going through, you're going to experience it with a different partner too. It's much smarter to handle it with the one that you've invested, even if they have made a mistake. If they have reached your limitations, as far as your boundaries, and you know, that's a different story. But if you're willing to forgive this person, it's much easier to fix what you already broke. But if you know that you've devastated it so hard to the point that you cannot reverse it, then it is much smarter to refresh, restart, you know, try a different way, try a different thing. But the cycle pattern that you had previously will not work for this new cycle. So if you're in a new relationship, the stuff that you used to do before will never ever work again. Or if you are trying to refresh your old relationship, you have to learn new ways of how you act when you're angry, what kind of loopholes you use, what kind of addiction do you do. Like, you have to learn that you're not going to be able to go through loopholes. You know, you can't just keep dating another person or keep gambling or spending money, you know, to heal yourself. You're going to have to heal the emotional issues that you have within yourself. And this will be mirrored with the person that you choose to find. So you will have a pattern of picking the same kind of people if you don't understand how to heal yourself first. So whether, it's not really a question of whether you need to find a new person or not. It's whether, can you handle yourself with the people that you're around? Is it a positive frequency or is it a negative one? Because ultimately you need to get to a positive one so you can help the world and help yourself, because there's nothing good in going into a negative vibration. All it's going to do is you're going to have to come back on this earth. You're going to have to keep learning this lesson over and over again. And it's just, negativity is just recycling and doing everything like an old broken record. You're doing it over and over again. So if you learn to keep yourself in a positive vibration and to speak with only purely positivity and teach people not to gossip, teach people to stay in a positive realm, then all of that will have a domino effect. So Jupiter will be in Scorpio. So you're going to be thinking about your emotional depths for until October or November of 2018. And you need to really consider what you're invested in, what you're committed to for the next 12 years. So if there's a relationship that you want to stay in, it's gonna have the same cycle for the next 12 years unless you do something major now. Like right now is the time to fix that. Because right now is the time to focus on your money, your power, your sex, your hidden desires, your secret desires. All of that is going to come into surface. The more you project, the higher your the farther your frequency will go. So whatever you're hiding inside of you, if it's a good thing, if you show it as a good thing, if you've been making mistakes but you tell people, this is what I learned, this is how I learned from this, it's really how you're projecting your life on what it will manifest later on, especially you Pisces. You are currently, right now, you're very much linked into your spirituality. You have immense amounts of extra sensory observation. You are the definition of magic and ritual. You will do a lot of daydreaming, fantasies, fairy tale, theater, ghost stories, and sensitivities. But drunkenness and sexual abuse can be the dark side of Pisces. So, Pisces, it's really important that you stay in a very high frequency, because next month, as the eclipses are going to come, they will affect you for the next 6 months. So I'm trying to get you in a positive vibration, so that way when the eclipses come, you're geared to go and you're hanging around the right people, so that way I can get you to the financial progress that you need to get. Because I know that you've been doing okay, but I know you want to get to that next level. But it takes your emotional spirituality to get to a higher frequency for you to get to that higher place. So you're going to be noticing some shifts. You're going to be noticing some things changing. But when your frequency becomes a much higher frequency, you're going to be in a better place with better people and making a lot more money. And people around you will start being the people that you help now in this season now of Taurus. You're going to start seeing them coming back during October and being extremely generous to you when you especially need them during that time. Okay, so now it's 37 minutes and we're going into the tarot reading. Okay, so the first card that I have is the Empress, and she is reversed. And either you have been dealing with a miscarriage, or you had a baby and or something you started, you're feeling like the lack of abundance. And I feel like it's because it's on something to do with you not making enough money. So things are not growing the way that they used to grow in your household, in your home. Things that made you feel like you were okay financially, abundantly. You feel like now you have to start working towards that. And this slow progression is kind of irritating you. You kind of feel like this whole reason of waiting on income to be better is the whole reason why it's hindering you. But I need to tell you that Taurus was the month to actually let you know that everything is happening in its own time. So if you're frustrated about something, everything is happening in its own time. And in May, you're going to start seeing the signs for that, the reason why you had to wait. You're going to start understanding why you had to wait. And because you're going to see little gifts here and there in May. And once you start understanding the gifts and the gifts of patience and the signs that God and the universe is sending you, you're going to have more acceptance for that patience. So I wanted to kind of show you if you haven't used your intuitive skills that much, like little tips and tricks of what you can do. And these little totems of birds, for now, for you, will help you understand the time delays of what is happening with what you need. You're going to have a conversation or a fight or something's going to happen, and then you'll see that bird or you'll see that totem. But you'll see little gifts here and there. They will be reminding you to either be patient, or they'll give you timelines of when things are happening. So I had a totem I seen a bird that symbolized something. It was, I think it was called a sorrow or a shallow bird. And I kept asking something because I've been fasting for something. I've been asking it for a very, very long time. And the next day I saw this shallow bird, but I didn't see it. My Pisces friend saw it, and she said, "Donna, I saw a shallow bird. You need to look it up." You know, Pisces always has this thing about intuition, and whenever they're, my Pisces is at one of my Pisces friends. She's at such a high elevation of frequency that she's already automatic. I don't have to tell her what's going on. She tells me what's going on. So that's why I'm able to connect to the source very strongly, and it's because of her that she shows. You know, she's gone through a lot of intuitive stages of her life, and this is how she connects, and she connects a lot with the birds. And I highly recommend you guys looking up Native American astrology, and you guys are actually the wolves. So I found that very interesting. You might find that very interesting, but I don't want you guys to be struggling on how much time things take. It is a journey right now, and the journey is for you to understand to be positive, because once you start training yourself and training others, that journey will start progressing as time goes. But it takes your spirituality for people to move, if that makes sense. What's crossing you right now is the Two of Pentacles. So there's two things in your life. There's two homes. There's two situations. Or you're trying to juggle your dreams. Maybe it's your career and what you really want to do in your life as far as love. Or you're trying to like play this balance act between two people, or two emotions, or two children, or you're really trying to like figure out what to do. But I see you, Pisces, as sometimes you're looking at the lower option because the lower option is easier. In the distant past, I saw that you were working really hard, man. You were working, you were striving in the past, and then something happened recently, and I feel like that passion that you had for the project has ended. So before, you used to work really, really hard towards something. You would give all of yourself to something, and then all of a sudden, recently something happened, and it just made you lose your passion for the thing that you used to really work your hardest for. And really what made it come to light was the greed that you saw in others. When you were starting to take the time to put out for others, and then you realized that others were not putting that time for you, that made you kind of like pull back. Or maybe on an emotional level, they were not providing something that you needed. Or maybe it's the whole stinginess of the way that they look at money. Maybe you have a partner, and the way that you look at money and the way that they look at money is not something that you guys agree on. They are not spiritually connected to the contribution that you guys provide. So they look at it as a completely different way. So if you have been separated because of greed, let's say like you had moved on because of greed, this kind of shift was meant to happen because there was a lesson to learn about greed that was not being learned. And in order for the other person to learn that lesson, you had to step away. Now, if you didn't have to step away and this person is evolving, then you guys are both recognizing, okay, we need to save. We need to put together this project. We're going to be more organized about it. Otherwise, if this person is not organized in your mindset, you're going to be feeling like you need to be more greedy towards them, because you're going to feel like you can't trust them because all they can do is just take, because they have a different type of agenda than you. So at this point, it just matters on if you guys have the same agenda or not. after, in the middle of May, when I was explaining to you that something will happen in astrology, and I was telling you that the moon will be in Sagittarius. You're going to be like a warrior. You're going to be fighting for your rights. There's going to be something that's going to compel you as far as what you're not going to deal with anymore. So you're going to be really putting down with what is okay with you and what is not okay with you. And that is going to take you to a place of passion and feeling much more excited about a new journey that you want to take. So whether it's you bringing people together, or whether it's a love that you started, or a career job, or a move job, but it's a desire. So it's Page of Wands. Page of Wands is the card that I have. So something fiery, something passionate. Either you're involved with a fire sign, an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, and this is going to happen mid-month. And it's not at the incubation stage, but it's not at the queen stage. It's not even at a knight stage. It's at a wand stage. So it's at a very childish, innocent, childish stage. Okay? But this passion that you have with this other person, or this passion that you have for this job, is going to be something that is revolutionizing you. And once you get revolutionized, this passion will start, but it's going to be very slow, okay? Because this other person in your life believes so much that they are an emperor, especially if you have an Aries in your life. Because I have the Emperor card. They're not, but it's reversed though. So that means that they're not in their element right now. So if you're dealing, I see a lot of fire energy. So if you're dealing with an Aries, Pisces, they're not at their element right now. They're not feeling themselves. They're acting the opposite of who they truly are. And it's because of the lack and loss of passion. So if you're trying to bring back passion with your Aries, make sure that you're taking them to a place of adventure and fun. If you're lost in your thoughts and responsibility, and you're not balancing your passion, this person is not going to feel themselves, and they're going to start doing things without you. So you need to be really careful with that, because I know that you need that emotional support with that other person. But this person really has a passion for life. And if you want to share this passion of life with them, you need to make sure that you share it with them and not neglect them from it. Because at the end of the month, I see the King of Swords is coming back. So if you guys have a very prominent Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius in your guys' life, this person is going to say something very inspirational, or it could be something cutting, but it's going to be at the end of the month, in May. A air sign, or either you, Pisces, or the air sign, is going to say something revolutionizing that will help you be the catalyst of the change that you need. So either it could be this air sign, either this fire sign that's an Aries, or there's a fire sign in the mix, or there's an air sign in the mix, or it could be you, or it could be the energy of air and fire together, floating up like a hot air balloon. That could be I have a sense that it could be something that it starts as something that is said. Hear me clearly. It sounds like it comes out really sharp, okay? It's something that you cannot swallow, but the news of it is actually good. So it's something that like at first you're kind of like cringe hearing. You don't want to hear how this works. You don't want to hear how this process works. But when you learn how this process works, you'll feel very enlightened. So there will be an air sign that you talk to, most likely. When you talk to this air sign, they'll help you feel enlightened. It could be me, because I am a Libra, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with somebody that you already know. So if what I'm saying right now does not change you, or it actually if it doesn't inspire you, then you'll definitely run into a Gemini, Aries, or an Aquarius at the end of the month, and they will talk to you about something that will be inspirational for you as far as communication, on how to communicate with others. And it's all going to be about how you project yourself to others. So that's how I saw how this month was playing out. And I wanted to draw 2 more cards because I was really compelled to do that. Be careful with what you are addicted to. Be very, very careful with what you are addicted to. Because whatever you are addicted to will always be the hindrance of the hindrance of your love life. That's the final card that I'm getting. So whether, even if you're not addicted to any drugs or alcohol or anything that is negative, it could be just like thoughts of negativity or lack of inspiration. So very, very carefully, do not automatically assume anything negatively. You may hear something that is sharp at the end of the month, but it's going to be very beneficial for you. So do not be addicted to anything negative. Clear off that path. Because as soon as you clear it off, it's waiting for the Lover's card to fall in. This is the final card that I get. You are granted this once you're into a higher level of frequency. You will have a much healthier and much stable love life once you're into a higher frequency. But it needs to go into a much slower pattern, as I explained. You need to be more luxurious in your home. You need to flourish your home first. You need to flourish yourself first. Then your spouse, your partner, whoever is living within that home. You start as a small molecule. You heal the cancer and the pain and the suffering that's inside of you. You brighten it. You purify it. Whatever you do to do that. Whether it's not listening to negative music anymore, where it's just where you make a soul contract to yourself. You promise yourself that from now on, I will not do any addictive behaviors. From now on, I will not hurt myself. From now on, I will just say positive things to myself. From now on, I promise to encourage myself. From now, I promise to encourage my spouse. From now on, I promise to encourage the people that I live with, and so forth. Promise yourself the positive things and don't go back to the negative things. Anything can affect us. Tarot readings, music, friends, family members. If you cannot evolve them and make them understand to stay in a positive atmosphere, then you are going to have to shift yourself into your own atmosphere of positivity. And it's going to be scary if you have to do it alone or try it with someone else. But the point is you need to allow people to have their peace. And the only way you can do that is if you have your own peace. And if you don't have your own peace, nobody else is going to have their own peace too. So I apologize that today I took a little bit longer on doing your reading, but Pisces, I really, really had to spend this extra time with you. And if you guys can please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that means everything to me. And when you guys really write to me, I really take that in. I really take that into consideration. If you guys, from now on, at this point, if there's more than 2 or 3 comments and questions on the same subject, I will sit there and I will elaborate it, and it will be something that you can ask about, and then as the energy shifts, you can feel enlightened and not feel alone. I want to bring you a tribe of other Pisces, so that way you guys can talk to each other. So each time one of the Pisces writes a comment underneath my video, another Pisces is looking at it like, whoa, wait a second, is this happening right now? Okay, let me get in this and let me get in that. I want to bring more friends to you guys, because I remember there was a time that you guys were very lonely, you guys were very sad. So if I could bring your own tribe to you, meaning that if you Pisces can talk to each other in the comments below, then you guys will see how much things are manifesting and turning into such a positive vibration. Again, thank you guys so much for visiting my channel. Please like, share, subscribe. I will be back at the end of the month. We're going to do a culmination of everything that you've went through. I will try to respond to everything as soon as I can, and I will try to do private readings. I will leave more information as the month goes by. I don't want you to feel alone. I need you to replay this message every time that you feel out of your element, or you need a friend, or if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you have nobody to talk to. I want to be that friend that's there for you. I want to hold the flashlight for you. I want to be the binoculars. I want to be the extra hug. Whatever you need, whatever you want to talk about, tell me about it, so that way I can talk to all the other Pisces, because I know what you go through is not just what you go through. These other Pisces are going through it too. So whatever you want to talk about, open a discussion, but keep it in a very positive light, so that way we can do it as a domino effect like that, and then it'll affect everybody else. All right, guys, that's going to be all. I hope you guys have a wonderful month, and let's get back together, and we'll talk again at the end of the month. Thank you again. Namaste.